establishing center control with the pawn and opening up the bishop. Building toward an Indian game by controlling the center with the knight instead of a pawn. A solid second move that controls the center and leaves space for the knight to develop. Black opens up a line for the dark squared bishop and prepares to castle quickly, while preparing to push a pawn to the center. White develops toward the center. This takes space in the center, attacks a white pawn, and helps control the center, developing the knight and increasing influence in the center. Knight bd7 develops the knight toward the center, defends the f6 knight, and controls the c5 and e5 squares, developing the bishop and increasing influence in the center. This pins a knight to the king. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Recapturing with the pawn here keeps the center healthy and stable. The bishop is ready to be developed to an active square. This threatens to capture a knight and win material after the follow-up trades. The knight is now adequately defended. The bishop is kicked by a pawn and must now move or be captured. This move puts the bishop on a safer square. This threatens to win a bishop by eventually trapping a piece. This leads to losing a bishop. This kicks a bishop. This is the only move that works, a straightforward recapture. This forces the opponent to lose castling rights. This evades the check from the queen. This calmly removes the bishop from an immediate threat. Black attacks a trapped piece and will win a bishop. This stops the opponent from being able to force an isolated pawn. This forces the opponent to isolate a pawn. A clear recapture. This is the only good move. This forces the opponent to double pawns. A straightforward recapture. Recaptures from a previous move. White has got a strong protected passed pawn. This threatens to prevent castling. This activates a piece and simultaneously wins time by attacking a queen. This move steps the queen out of danger and keeps material balance. The best option was to castle kingside. This isolates a pawn, which is a weakness. This is the only move that works. Castling kingside tends to be safer than queenside because the king is further from the center. One more piece joins the action. That pawn was free for the taking. This steps away from the checking rook. This is the only good move. The rooks are coordinated and powerfully doubled on the file. This loses material. This is the only move that works. This is the strongest option. A clear recapture. A straightforward recapture. This is the only good move. This wins time by threatening a piece and forcing it to move away. This evades the check from the queen. White can win material through a fork with the right follow-up from here. This steps away from the checking queen. White will be winning material with that fork. This steps away from the checking queen. White can win a pawn using a fork with the right follow-up. This takes an open file, a common method for activating a rook. A solid choice. This steps away from the checking queen. Very strong play. One of the best moves. Right on target. This move puts the rook on a safer square. With this move, the pawn comes under sudden pressure. A strong choice. That was a free pawn. This kicks a queen. This calmly removes the queen from an immediate threat. This evades the check from the queen. This is the strongest option. This blocks the check from an opposing queen. This move steps the queen out of danger and keeps material balance. This doubles the rooks on a file, which allows them to team up to create threats. Right on target. This steps away from the checking queen. This is an equal trade. Black eliminates the white's passed pawn. This activates the king in the endgame by getting it off of the back rank. A solid choice. White's piece has moved to a square with greater activity and control. This was the only move, pushing a passed pawn. This blocks white's pawn. Securing the passed pawn makes it harder for black to challenge it. This evades the check from the queen. This protects the attacked pawn. This evades the check from the queen. A strong choice. That pawn was free for the taking. The passed pawn moves towards its goal. This is the strongest option. This calmly removes the queen from an immediate threat. The rooks are coordinated and powerfully doubled on the file. Right on target. A discovered attack from black targets the queen. This move steps the queen out of danger and keeps material balance. This was the only move, pushing a passed pawn. That's fine. The passed pawn moves towards its goal. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either, pushing a passed pawn. Blocketing the passed pawn halts, progress, and buys black some time. A strong choice. This is the strongest option. White will be winning material with that fork.